Hey guys and gals, I don't want to leave you hanging on how I do the foliage for my campground. So today we're going to be focusing on this piece here, and I'm just going to show you why I do the green underneath and how do I put all this stuff together. So yeah, from the last installment we finished up the last parts of the terrain. I'm happy with the way it looks, and this right here is the only piece I have backed up in the stud. That means if I ever want to rebuild this, it's there. And yeah, so remember, we're going to put our camper here, and we're talking about putting a fire pit maybe here. Right here's a good spot right here. So I managed to find the little green picnic table. I don't know if I'm going to use green in here with everything else green or not. We're just going to use that. I got some parts in here for the fire pit and stuff like that. Maybe put the fire ring here. I always like to have the barbecuer close to the picnic table. So maybe put the barbecuer here. Put the table there and the fire ring here would be pretty cool. Okay, now usually the picnic tables just sit. I don't have them anchored down to anything and stuff like that. So let's start with that first, and I got stuff for trees. Actually, my original plan was 12 trees. Then I bumped it to 14. Well, I had enough to make 16 trees. That's pretty good. And now let's start building our campfire ring. And I thought I had everything set up here. I need to get the tablet because I have a snapshot of how I did them in the campground here. And then this right here is what we're going to be building right here today. All right, we're going to be putting that in this corner, and I'm going to have to get up and get some parts eventually, but I think right about here would be fine. Put the center right there. So let's get going here. And yeah, kind of get you in the mood to go camping, huh? Wish I could say the same for my bunch, but they don't like the outdoors. Alright, so this installment is just meant for not only for your entertainment, but just to show you how I come up with this and how do I put things together. So I'm using these right here to offset our tiles and studs and stuff like that. Usually the ground around a fire pit is slightly raised up, so I just kind of use these to compensate for it. And yeah, I'll have to get up and get some more parts here. But that's the last of the jumper plates, so we don't need those anymore. And today, well, yesterday it was like 90 something degrees out here. Today it's supposed to be in the high 70s, so I'm hoping to get cooler. And I don't know what it is with older people. They like everything so hot. And I'm like, I'm flipping that air on. I don't care if anybody gets mad. I'm tired of sweating. Yeah, I'm trying to keep these less ranty anyways. There'll be one that will go here. I just need to get the stud and stuff. Now, the reason why I'm keeping the camper here is I need to have some markers for where everything's going to go, because at this point I need to distinguish how everything is going to be placed. Now, if you're interested in tutorials for all this stuff, I'll have the link in the description on this video here where you could find the tutorials on how to make a spruce tree, how to make the little barbecue and the picnic table and stuff like that. Okay, so, and the fire ring is from one of my campgrounds. So I have everything, and yes, I do follow my own building guides. That's why I write them up. I had somebody the other day ask me, do I ever use my own building guides? Yes, I do, and I'm using reddish brown. I'm hoping that flower doesn't crack. Now that's got me worried there. This is before we had the hollow studs. I just use these to anchor down. I'm just pressing those in gently. I'm not going to force them all the way in. I need to get the slopes, hollow studs, and flame pieces. So I'm going to have, matter of fact, I got a better idea. We're not going to put fire in this one. I'm going to have a little fun with this one here. But today, I'm going to save the fun stuff for when I do the tour. I don't want to spoil it too much. Haven't filmed in a few days. No, that's a lie. I did film a tutorial, but I had it already built in advance. So when we do this right here, this is going to simulate some rock, and plus also wrap around our firing a little bit better. I do get some comments from you guys and gals mentioning you actually like these hands-on approach videos. These are not meant to be tutorials by any means. It's just kind of like, this is how I compile the ideas for stuff like this. You know, your mileage most likely will vary, but that's pretty much what it is. And I hate this round stuff because it likes to roll off. So we're not going to have any fire in there right now. We're going to have it look like it's extinguished. So what I'm going to do is probably stick some other colors in there. There's our fire ring. Now I can leave it like that too. Let me put these up because we're done with those. And the studs. So let me kind of keep things cleaned up here. I was reading one of your comments, and I don't like mentioning names on here because I'm always afraid that, you know, some people get kind of angry or mad or something. But there was a gentleman that's building a Minecraft theme in his living room, which is pretty cool. I think it's 5 of those 32 plates. That's pretty long, especially for my style of building. But it seems pretty cool. And now I need the slopes. And we're not putting any fire in this one here. You'll get it when I build the whole final thing. You'll understand why here. First I gotta find them. Now I want to make this look like an extinguished fire. And sometimes when we throw wood in these things here, you know, I got some nougat. Now if you want, you can add flames in yours. Just set that in there. And that kind of thing. And that could be about it. Just maybe look like we have something ready to go for a fire. You can even stick some dark gray or black in there too to make it look like the wood has been burnt down. That's totally your call, but I'm going to leave it like that. And now it looks like a little campsite. Okay, now I can move some of this stuff around here if I choose. I may just put the table here right by the camp ring. Maybe put the barbecuer here. I think that looks a little better, but I'm going to start planting trees. Well, now it's a little too congested there. Let's try it back the way I had it before. Yeah, this might be the best way to do it right here. Okay, so I got trees. Now, where the camper's at back here, I want to keep this one pretty tall. I got this area right here. 2 different types. One's with a trunk with a little bit of a flaring at the bottom, and one's without. Unfortunately, I can't stick this here because I don't have enough plate. Now I can add a plate in there for the terrain, but yeah, I'll stick that there. And for a tree top, I have 4 pre-made tree tops. I made 16 of them in total, so there you go. And then I'd say let's put the tree there. Now I'm starting with trees first, and you'll see why in a second. I'm just going to plug this in at the bottom and then set my tree in there. Okay. All right. Now, that looks pretty good. Well, you can't see that, huh? And yeah, I'm still in this little room, so you have to bear with me on this one here. Got plenty of clearance above that camper. But remember, some of these are going to be kind of hanging down and stuff. So I'm going to just kind of move things around there. Didn't have enough dark green, so I just used some light green for the top. Now, let's set the rest of our trees. I got one of these with the trunk. I'm probably going to set this one right here. Now I'm just going to set that in there. Why? You'll find out in a second here. Got this nice dark brown one. I'm going to set this right here in this corner. And we'll put this tree right here. Or what I could do is stick the one with the trunk here, because it's more flatter here. And you can see I'm kind of fighting to get that manipulated in there, making sure everything is pretty secured. And I'll stick this little guy here. Okay. Now, the reason why I set my trees up like this is because I'm going to need to find out where everything's going to go before I start putting foliage in, because I want to darken this up and kind of break this up a bit. So what I'm going to do is just kind of pop one of these off, and I'm going to use these as markers. Okay. Means that these will stay in here. What these are going to do, this is going to act as a little thing that says, Jay, don't be putting anything in that area. Okay. All right. We don't need the iPad anymore. We can put that away. And now we can do this one in the back here too. And then we're going to start back here. Now the only thing I'm missing in here is the hookups and stuff. Like the electrical, the water, the sewer, because this is going to be a full hookup site. I'm not worried about that now. Okay, like I said, that's the icing on the cake. This is just about foliage and placement and stuff like that. I got stems, and I thought I had some other ones, but I remember parting out a bunch of things. A couple things that I can do here. Okay, so I got some of these and these. You can mix anything up you want here. So we're going to be focusing in on this corner here right now. And yes, somebody's going to experience seasickness here. And now I don't want to get past this line here. So we'll keep it right there for you. And we're going to focus right on in this area here. And yes, this is kind of how I do my tutorials in a way. There, but you don't see all this behind the scenes stuff. Making these is kind of a difficult challenge here. What I usually do is I'll just grab a green piece like this and stick it in there. And then I'll just start caking on leaf pieces here. Now I wish I had dark green, but I don't. So if I find any in there, I'll grab them. So, and we don't want red. Do I even have an empty container, or did I pick all those up? Red in a forest. I don't think I used red in my last one. So I think what we're going to do, we're going to separate all the bright colors out of here. You know, just like this. Probably not. I got a dark green one of these, so we'll stick one of those in there too. And I'll start. Now I didn't pre-build all these, so forgive me there. I got to make the videos long, right? And then there you go. Well, we're not done yet. And then it depends on where everything's going to sit in here. Remember, I'm going to have hookups and stuff right about here. So I don't want to get too close, but what I could do is just stick this right here. Now, the green is going to make it look like there's more leaves down there than there actually is. Okay, so I'm just going to make a handful of these. Not going to overdo it here because I don't have a lot of this stuff. So I don't want to just start getting crazy and just start mass producing foliage in one area, then I run out and I have to take some out. You'll probably have to do that eventually, but now if you want, you could use brown and down there too. There you go. Remember, I want to keep some of these studs open here for hookups. So I'm just going to place that in there, and then we'll make another one. And I am going to order more of these type of stem pieces here eventually. You know. And you could use flowers in there. You can do anything you want. If you want to make it look like you're camping in a flower garden, there you go. Yeah, we could have it to where it looks like we have some kind of like dead leaves on some of these here. So you can do that. Like right there. Sorry you didn't see that, but you get the idea what I'm doing here. And I may have to get another container for brown. And then we'll stick this one right here in this area, because I'm already pretty bunched up here like that. I just don't want to interfere with the tree, because the tree's going to have to sit here. So I want to make sure I have enough space to clear it. And if you got some of these old school flower things, I'm not going to take them off of that unless I have to. If you got some of these, you could put stuff on there too, or you can leave them as is. It looks even better like tall grass in that area. And now that part's done. And as you can see though, the green underneath just kind of fills it up. So it looks like we have some grass down there, like some short ground coverings. And now we can turn our attention to this side here. Now you notice I didn't remove any of my accessories. So let's kind of focus right here. And yeah, everything just wants to fall down today. I got these type of stems. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to grab another container. And Lego is supposed to send me 2 sets for review, and they haven't yet. So if they're late on sending stuff, that's on them. I'm not pushing back my projects because they're late on sending me stuff. They're late. It's not my fault. I publish them as quickly as I can, but if they late sending them, then I mean that's on them. And yeah, he's doing foliage is kind of relaxing. It gets relaxful. I don't even know if that's even a word, but it's relaxing, and you can take your time. No big hurry. Stick a yellow one in there, and that's pretty much what it is. And we're going to stick this one right here next to the tree. And then for here, I'm just going to grab a piece of tall grass and shove it in there like this. Just stick that right in there. These stems, they discontinue these because they just don't last too long. They just don't stick on studs very well. As you can see, this kind of wobbles and jiggles. Let's try putting something on the bottom of that. See how this just falls off? So there's 2 different types. You can use this one too and just do that. Okay, and that's what you do. Now you can see that line is broken up now. We've broken that line up. Now I want to focus around here, in this whole area right here. Now you notice I didn't put any trees up. Why? Because I'll be knocking into those. You don't want to be knocking into trees. So what we're going to be doing now is finishing this up. And then the rest of the accessories will be when the campground's built. So you'll have to see that in the final tour. And we'll see what we can do here for that. So now we're going to be doing some stuff here along the side. Start at the bottom, work your way up. I've learned the lesson the hard way. And you just got to plan ahead. Now remember, there's a road here I don't want things hanging in the road too much. So what I'm planning on doing is maybe use the smaller ones there. I'll show you here with this guy. I don't want to stick it right here because it's right in the road. Okay? I can put it back in here and it would be fine, or here. Okay, so I can shove that there. And if this thing's too short, just add another stud flower in there. Okay? So stick that there. That's okay. I can live with that. Okay? And then we'll add another one here, and we'll just kind of build our way up. And I got one of these bright green ones. Trying to... Now, if you got these type of green stems, you can use those too. Matter of fact, Legos came out with a dark green one. So I'm going to probably see if I can scarf some of those dark green stems. Or they call them earth green. And I got that one backwards. It doesn't really matter. But... And yeah, when I do the backup for this, I have to back up all those pieces. That means I'll have to make each one of these flowers and drop them in. But it'd be worth it, because then I'll have a backup of my work. If something were to come off and I don't know where it goes, I know where it goes after that. Okay. And I'm going to say right about here, because I got that tree in that area. And that just came right off. Is that not just like that or something? Okay. As you can see now, we're softening up this corner. Now it's not so harsh. That's why I was telling you. You get into that, you don't need to start worrying about, you know, the harsh lines. Now, if you don't want to have this as tall grass, you don't have to. I'm going to stick this right here. There's a rock here, so I can't do anything about it. And I can put one right on this stud here. Now, this model is really not meant to be played with. This is just meant as an exhibit piece. So, it's not like I'm really worried about somebody coming here roughhousing with it and the parts just start coming off. There you go, right about there. You know, I could probably take my barbecue or bump it here and move the table right there. Okay, so... And you can move things around and as you build it. Now you can see if I were to add this tree here, let's say we put this one here, it looks pretty good. Now I'm getting pretty bunched up there, so I'm trying to get rid of all these here. I might put those up because I don't use those style of stems anymore. We'll make another one. Dark green looks better. Now, you don't have to use these type just strictly for this. Now, I got to be very careful. I don't have a lot of this stuff, so I have to just be very sparsely on parts. First thing is I don't want red. Red might be okay, but I kind of want to shy away from that color for a bit. And we'll start here. And it does fit. I'm out of the road. Looks pretty good. Now, if you really want to, you could stick these in here and put them like that. Okay? It breaks it up even more. Now, there's another type of flower I'll show you that we could use, and I didn't bring it out because I don't have a lot of them. And I don't even know where the bin is at for them. And I lost it. Don't ask me how, but I did. But if you want to sparsely use your studs, or you can also use studs in there too. They're flowers like this, but the limbs on the sides are a bit shorter. I don't have a lot of them, but I thought, well, that'd be a good piece for this. We'll keep the brown ones out for right now. Well, maybe I'll toss those browns in there. Like the red, but I can use this color here. Okay. Those are just kind of wiggly and jiggly. You can make tall grass out of these too. I don't have a lot of them, so I'm not going to waste those parts on that. See, I got these old school flowers on here. I can't use those. I mean, you could if you want to put them in your campground. That's totally up to you. You know what? Let's put some petals on that are not brown. Let's make this leaf look like it's a bit wilted. All right. And then we will drop this one in right here. Huh. It does not want to go in. Imagine if that tree was there, I'd be knocking into it. All right, so you kind of get the idea how I'm doing this here. And I could edit the whole thing out, but that would do the viewer, no good if I did. Now, I also got some of these dark brown stems. I think those hold in a bit better. I could use these. So I'm going to hang on to those. It's the older green ones that I have. Like these just, they fall out real easily. They're not worth my time. So I'm going to use the newer version. This is supposed to be the newer version to one of these old ones here. I like the old ones. You don't have to have the stud at the bottom, but you know, we're going to stick a little bit of tall grass right there. Kind of fill in that area. More of these. I guess I'll be pulling those out till the cows come home, huh? Now, here's the thing. If you got animal figures like squirrels or deer, you can throw them in there too, and you can just make this thing all packed. You know, accessories are the key. Some people get offended. I said, add clutter to your builds, and they kind of get all mad and angry with me. What do you mean by clutter? You know, oh, one time I said some, oh, I was like, wow, you got a lot of clutter in your city. It looks pretty good. And this guy literally got offended over me over that. I'm like, dude, you look in a city, in a modern, real life city, they got clutter everywhere. That's a good thing. You know, put clutter in your builds. And we'll just stick another one of these on here, another wilted leaf. Man, I thought I had a lot of green ones. I ripped apart that hedge thing I had. And then I'll put one at the bottom here. If you want to use your brown ones down there, you can, but... Okay. I don't want to get too close to this. I'm going to come right here, stick this here. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to stick one of these little leaf things. Let's get a bright green and kind of shove it there. The reason being is to kind of fill that in. Now you can see now it's starting to look more heavily vegetated, you know. And I'm going to grab one of these and I'm just going to put the stuff on it here. I got to do 6 of these plates. So after I'm done with this and it's to my satisfaction, I'll do the final accessories, the stuff for the final video. And I will do that. All right, I'm going to stick something right down here, right by this barbecue, right in here. Well, there it is. Let's pop that barbecue out. Just kind of looks bare in that area, so I'm just going to shove something right in there. I'm going to place that back in there. Yes, these are modeled after Pilot Rock barbecuers. They're not sponsoring me by any means, but I remember one time I was looking that stuff up and I was like, oh, that's who makes those barbecuers. So I decided just to start kind of doing those. I'm sure there's other companies that make stuff similar, but I know that they're the main ones that make that, the picnic tables, bear-proof cabinets. Let's get an orange one in there. I'm not making full-blown bushes. Why? I don't have enough. Now, you don't have to just use these. Now, can I put something in that little hole there? Let's see here. Yeah, I can. And it's out of the road too. Now you can see now now it looks like we have lots of flowers down in there. You don't have to use those because I got other types of bushes too. So what you could do is you can use some of these. These look a little bit more rugged. Also got some of these bamboo stalks. I got some of these. I see these more used for being in wetlands than anything else. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab one of these type of bushes here and just set this in here. And just trying to anchor that down is a problem. Something like that. Okay. Now we can fill that in around where this tree stump is at. Well, it'll be grown when we're done. And we're gonna stick I'm gonna stick one of these pieces here. I'm gonna stick this little bright green thing in here like that. Just shove it in there. Shove it right in there. All right, and after I get done with this installment, I am going to flip on the air, and I don't care who I freeze out. I don't even know what the temperature is. I think it's supposed to be like 70 something today. Yesterday was 90, but yeah. Now let's put what's in there. And we will drop that right there. Now it looks like we're on a higher terrain, like that. Whoa. That's why I like anchoring stuff down, but as you can see now, it looks a lot better. You know, even if you're looking at it like this, it just kind of lifts things up a little bit. Because you don't want to see these hard corners here. That just doesn't look good. That doesn't look good at all. So, yeah, but I'm looking for some of these that are dark green at these dark green or earth green stems. They're darker than this green here. And yeah. I did get a remark about why are my hands all cut up, you know, if you're a computer programmer, because I also have to fix machines and make sure that they're working too. So I don't just sit and press keys all day. I actually have to do hardware work too. Yeah. And then we're going to shove this one right here, right in this little hole. Now you see why I like anchoring my stuff down, because that picnic table went bye-bye. But now you don't even see that hard corner. Still need to put something here. I don't think I can fit something big, but who says that I can put things on this right here. So we're going to do that. We're going to set something right on there. And while I'm here, if I can get a hold of one of those lime green ones, I'm going to kind of put some down there too. And my voice does sound a bit raspy. Allergies and work. I'm tired, I'm exhausted. That, parents, all that stuff. And no, I don't live at home. Couldn't take it anymore. The thing though is by mixing these up, it kind of randomizes things. Let's get a lime green and place it in here first. Like right here, it seems kind of barren, so I'm going to shove something right on this little point here. You can make these all cattywampus and stuff too. And then this one here, I'm going to shove right here. I can't put any more there. It's off the road. Looks pretty good. Do I have any more of those little lime green ones? No. So what am I going to do? Shove one right here to fill that in. Now you can see now the terrain is popping out. It's not just flat. It's popping. It's supposed to pop out at you. That's what you want. if you don't have a lot of foliage pieces, which most people don't, it took me years to collect all this stuff, and I'm still collecting. So it's, use what you have. You know, you could even make brick bushes too, like these green things. That could just be meant as, you can make bushes like that too. You don't have to just have 20 million stud flowers. You don't have to have all the parts that I have to make this stuff. You can make it any way you want. And we'll put this little happy bush, I think, right in this little area here. And let's see how that looks. And you can see now it's kind of, looks good. It looks kind of square here. So we're gonna see if I got any more of those little lime green ones. I have the little round stud flowers. I may have to get up and try to find them for you. That bin's been MIA for a while. I'll run across it, and when I need it, I can't find it. So I'm just gonna stick some random green ones here. Or you can even stick the yellow one there too. I'll put something right there. And I think I could fit probably a large one there. I got plenty of these. I'm going to order a few more. Unfortunately, it'll take 6 weeks to get them here. So, and I want to wrap this campground up in a week or two, because I got to find a place to store 6 big chunks. Then I'm going to have to put it together and set it on this table here. This piece here is the one that goes in the top right. Alrighty. And then we're gonna shove this one, I'm gonna say in that little hole. Before I do, I'm gonna come in here. You know what, we're not gonna see that. If I shove it here, you know, that's fine, but it feels like it's pushed out. If I shove it here, it looks a little better. There we go. I can't put a whole lot here. It's next to the road. So I'm just going to make some tall grass and stick that in there. If it hangs in the road a little bit, you can always twist and turn things too. And that kind of does it. And then here, you know, I can put one here. And at that corner is going to be kind of silly. So I'm just going to shove a stud flower here, and we'll put another piece of tall grass here. And then there you go. And I think we're done with the foliage. Now, it doesn't look plain. And like I said, it looks like it's popping out at you. So now, as you can see, you've got a little bit of a privacy in here. Anything else we're missing? Like I said, this is for exhibit. Now, I don't take this stuff out public and exhibit it, because there's no legal exhibits in my area. So I'm going to take this and put a flower in here. Now, you can put stuff on your sand yellow, but it's totally your call. Put our table here. And now we're ready to put in, well, that barbecue is kind of cramped in there. We had the table like this. I think the barbecue went here. Now, if you're not sure where your barbecue goes, just put a stud in it for a placeholder like we did with the trees. Now, here, when we put our campsite numbers in, there's going to be a number right here. So I'll stick a little post here and put a camp number. I don't know what that is, and I don't want to have to hunt down for the parts. So I'm going to leave that out as well as with the hookups. Like I said, this is just for foliage today. We're just doing plants and shrubs and trees. Now, I want to turn my attention now, and I can pick all this stuff up here. Oh, wait a minute, I got to be careful, because this is already sorted, and I just threw it randomly in a bin. All right. Now I want to focus my attention to the trees. We already got the tree at the top over there by the camper. And let me just get all these stems out of here because I'm going to go OCD if I don't. And then we're going to start on the trees. And the whole thing about now with the trees is we work from the ground up. Okay. Now, if you're making this for playability, you're going to have to really anchor this stuff down, because foliage will come off easy. Okay. Okay, now where's the bin for the flowers? Or did I drop that in the wrong bin? And surely enough, I did. Hey, for those, some of you guys and gals know my situation with the stress and stuff like that. Sometimes I'm just kind of all over the place, and I'm not like those YouTubers that make my life seem like it's all great. You know, I'm just like everybody else. I just have to live one day at a time. And I think I got all those out of there. All right. Now, you notice I didn't stick dark green down here. Why? Because it'll clash with the dark green plate. So you didn't do that. Now, let's get going on the trees, hopefully. We're going to stick the camper in there next. If you want to prevent your campers from rolling around, just take some cheese slopes and stick them underneath the wheels. But in this installment, we're not. Remember, I want to put this right about here. And as you can see, we're getting pretty cramped, so you just have to move your furniture around a bit. Lego dimensions are a little different. You know, everything's kind of built kind of weird. You know, the minifigures are wider than they are, you know. Matter of fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to back everything up so you can get a bigger picture of what I'm doing here. And not only for your entertainment, but for my reference too. And focus. I got done with a nasty tutorial the other night. It's not hard unless you're not really willing to build stuff hard. You know. Okay, we're going to put this tree back here. Now I can set my tree down in here. Okay. Pretty good. And now we got some shade above the camper. We got the tree here that goes in the corner. Let's get another tree top. And it took several hours to piece all these together. Okay, let's stick that right in there. Now you can use a cross axle if you want. For playability purposes, I do. For durability, I do. But just for stuff like this, I don't really do it. Now, there you go. And I want to put the tall one here. That might be a little too tall. What do you do when you make a tree that's too big? Just trim it down. Just trim it down a little bit. We may have to do that. I don't know until I start putting this stuff together here. Okay. Jay, you said you were not going to use reddish brown, but you're still using it. Yeah, because I don't have enough of the dark brown. I heard that's getting brittle too. So you're not going to win either way. And there you go. Trees are all different heights. And as you can see now, it's starting to look pretty shaded in there. But we got this guy. What if you make a tree too tall? Well, it'll look kind of silly. Where your campers are at, that's where you want to save your log bricks at, or these things. If I put that there, that's just too tall right there. It just, I don't know. I mean, you could do that. I'm going to trim it down by 2. Well, let's make it 4. Well, 4 bricks is a little too much. Let's trim it down by 2. And I'm going to shove that there. Okay. And I can still get the trailer out there. You can park a vehicle here. And pretty much that's it. And as you can see now, except for this back edge here, now just imagine there's a piece that goes here with trees. Okay. And thing bad about using these profile bricks, be careful because they don't lock together. You may want to use some cross axles for it. But as you can see though, especially with the overhead light, it looks like an overcast day. You got your fire ring here. I could set some chairs. I'll have to make those. It's a nice cozy little campsite. Now this campsite was actually meant for something else, but I can't share that with you because, well, you might see the tutorial for that. I don't know if it's going to be released in the same month as this one, but you'll get the hint. Right now I just want to feature trailers in this installment here. And that's how you do it. Now you can see now the terrain just pops out. We have this up a little higher. Now it has that illusion. And let me just see if we can do hand cam here. So you're going to experience seasick motion. You may want to stop because I can't just keep it fixed forever. And this thing is toasty. And as you can see though, this is up higher right here. So even though it's the plants that give it the illusion. Okay, we can come right in here. And, you know, if you're at ground level like this walking up in there, that's what it looks like. It's pretty good. Still got to put my hookups here in the back. And here's a better shot of the campsite spur. Makes you want to go camping, huh? Now, I got to do that 5 more times. I'm not going to do that in this installment. I just want to show you, though, and I think we're going to wrap up this installment series on the campground build. And yeah, this is pretty much well, I wouldn't say torture, but as you can see, though, it's looks like a real campsite. I like that. It turned out really nice. I'm happy with this.